I'm going to call the Lakeville Board of Health meeting to order. Is there anybody recording this other than us and LakeCAM? Hearing none, we'll get on to our first one at 6 o'clock. Meet with Outback Engineering on 24 Hickory Lane.
How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Very good. For the record, Niles Zager from Outback Engineering. This one, you said 24 Hickory, correct?
24 Hickory is what this
I
says.
just wanted to make sure it was the right one. This is a little bit of a unique situation. I wanted to talk to you guys first before a potential client homeowner hires us to do any work. There's an existing cottage on, if you guys are familiar with the area, but I have the assessor's map. Obviously, Robbins Lane comes down and turns into Hickory, and it's all the way at the end. It's this house right here. It's a small little lot. It's very tiny. It's a cottage right now. It's been a cottage for years and years, whatever. And it's the homeowner, the person that my potential client purchased the cottage. He lives actually next door. He's looking to have it as a summer cottage, just as like a, for a family or whatever. The issue is it's in a flood zone, so that's obviously one issue. The major issue that we have is because it's in a flood zone, if it's treated as a repair or an upgrade, then you're allowed to put a septic system within it. If it's treated as a new construction, you would not be able to. And the issue is, these are pictures of the home that the homeowner took, and I've actually been to the home as well. When he purchased it, he ripped out the toilet. There's no evidence of, there's no evidence of piping or any components, but there was obviously the intent of, having the bathroom there. He's being assessed that it has a bathroom. So the idea is that we wanted to treat it as an upgrade repair, put a tight tank in, and move forward. But it's obviously a big hurdle if the board sees it differently. So we wanted to make sure, before I went and spent all his money, told him which way to go, I said, this is the best way to do it. Come talk to the board, see what their take is on it, and...
Before we... Just so you know, and I doubt you were ever told this, the old owner came in here when it was getting sold, and Larry told him he needed to do a Title V on it. And he, in front of Larry and Joe, told him that, oh, there's no plumbing in there, there's no bathrooms in there, there's no nothing, I don't need to do a Title V because that's not a cottage, it's just a shed. And he came in here and represented that to us already. So now to say that now he comes in and tells us it's a cottage, he can't have it both ways, you know what I mean? And he already, as far as Larry knows, there's no cesspool, there's no nothing there anywhere that anybody can find. And the old owner came in and told him, right in this office, stood here and said, it's only a shed, there's no plumbing in there.
Okay.
So that's my big hurdle with it.
Okay.
Plus,
So
there's no evidence of a cesspool or anything anywhere that anybody knows about back there.
Okay.
So I don't know what was done in there. Maybe the guy years ago started, he was roughing some stuff in and set a toilet in the corner or something, but as far as we know, there's no evidence that anything was ever there.
Okay.
And the owner's own words were that it's a shed, it's not a...
This is the previous owner?
Yeah, the people who just sold it on a transfer that they didn't want to do a Title V. And they said, well, it's only a shed, I don't have to do a Title V for a shed.
I don't think that was the old owner, I think that was me, right?
Okay, then maybe it was you.
That was me.
Well, somebody came in and said it was a shed, it wasn't a cottage.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can it be a cottage now then?
Well, that wasn't what I was referring to, though.
What were you referring to then?
Well, I mean, the bathroom that was in there was not what I would consider a bathroom. That's what my point was. And I specifically said when I came in here that if I was ever going to do anything, because I got a letter from this office saying I needed a Title V, and I'm like, well, there's no way it's going to pass any Title V. It doesn't resemble a bathroom of today's bathroom, so there's nothing to Title V is what I would say, but you know, I speak out of school. And I said if I was gonna do anything, I would go through the proper channels and get an engineer to do it. So this
But is there a
why-
cesspool, is there a septic system
Well,
anywhere
you know,
there?
my lawyer considers it a septic pit, is what he called it. That's what it would be used. The notion that they didn't go to the bathroom is absurd. I can't go up through the night without getting up 2 or 3 times. You have to go to the bathroom. So it wasn't the old owner that said that, it was me. And it was a language that I'm not familiar with, and that's why I said what I said. What is it? It's a cesspool bathroom. And so when, you know what, I honestly, I would never have gotten rid of the old bathroom fixtures, the thing that sat on that, if I'd known. I didn't know, I just threw it out. To me, it was junk. It was garbage, it was dirty, it needed to go. I paid to get rid of it. I can show you the receipts for the toilet that 3 of them.
So it was an outhouse then, or?
Huh?
So it was like being used as an outhouse?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, you know, all I can say is, I went to Niles and I asked him, that's why we're here, to ask you people. I specifically said if I intended to do anything, this is exactly what I would do.
I mean, I'm obviously going off of, hearsay as far as what was there. I mean, I can see it staining. It does show some signs of use. There was obviously the intent there. But again, I'm going off of what I know, which isn't very much. I just know the regulations, obviously. If there was a toilet there, then there was the intent of the bathroom. There was an intent of going, somewhere of something. It could be a privy, outhouse, what have you. And then we could treat it as an upgrade. So it's kind of a gray area. And that's,
I mean, this is first I've heard of this, so I'd have to investigate this, because I don't know if outhouses count as, I just don't know the law on that, to be honest, to speak to if an outhouse counts as a livable space that counts it as a pre-existing house. I just never dealt with this before in all these years. I have no idea though.
I've upgraded houses that have had outhouses with no other component, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the way this board will see it.
Is it gonna be seasonal?
Yes.
Just a seasonal?
Yes, correct,
And you just-
absolutely. It's
Oh,
not, it wouldn't have the ability to be, he wouldn't want, he doesn't want to spend that kind of money into it for a year-round home. It just doesn't make sense.
And is there a well already on the property?
No.
No well?
No, there's no
nothing?
water source, correct.
Nothing.
No, I think what was happening, which happens a lot, and, on these properties, is they were probably drawing from the pond. Which happens a lot, or did happen a lot. So,
We've been there for 15 years next to it, and they've done everything that I can think of to go to the bathroom, including going in the woods. They had 3 different methods inside there to go. That's one of them. We're just looking to put something proper in there and not make it 7 feet high so that my in-laws don't have to try and hurdle 7. They're like 1 floor. 2 steps is a lot for them.
What would you do for water?
we would drill a well. So that would be our intent. That's what we would propose. There's enough room to have 50 feet between a tight tank and a well on the property. That's what something that I've already looked into. But this was the major hurdle, obviously, before we go spending, thousands of dollars on engineering.
Larry, if he came in before we bought it and said, yes, I want to do a Title V, what would we have done?
We would have inspected it, just whatever septic component was there, and we would have done a walkthrough, count up the bedrooms, we would have looked to see if it had plumbing, what the water source was. We'd have to do a water test on whatever the water source was.
And
I don't think it was an outhouse, either that, or it was a very large outhouse.
right, no, but it would have failed, right?
Well, if it had something to fail, I mean, if there was no septic component there, I don't know what's there. I mean, if it just had a hole, the toilet bolted to the floor and they were defecating in the crawl space, I don't even know how to classify that. That's not an outhouse. I'm not sure what was there. It's hard to, it was presented to me as there was nothing to inspect. If there was a cesspool there, that's certainly inspectable. We can inspect a cesspool, but I was told there was no component there to inspect.
I don't think it would've failed before they bought it.
And they would've had plumbing, right? They would've had pipes if there's a water source to
Was there water to the toilet?
connect it to the toilet, right?
You know what, if
all the plumbing fixed.
if there's no electricity, I just pour water into the tank and it flushes. You don't really need plumbing to do that. Just pour a bucket of water into it. I mean, obviously what they did wasn't right, so that's why we're here, just trying to make it a proper setup. You know, I appreciate everybody spending the time.
I mean, if the board's not comfortable with making a decision tonight, I understand. I just wanted to present it in front of you. If you guys need time to, to think it over, I clearly understand. We're not trying to push it on the board right now. It's not like it's an emergency situation, but we wanted to present it to you. If you need time, or you feel you need time, if it's something that you think you could, make your decision by doing a little bit more research, getting some more information from Larry, asking me if you need more information from me or what I know, we have no problem doing that. I don't think we weren't here. We would like to get it. Obviously, would love to get a decision from you, but I don't think it's a necessity. We can wait till the next hearing if it would make you guys more comfortable.
I would need some time before I could vote intelligently to look into some of that stuff and see exactly what it was, what the classifications were, and if there's anything. There's one thing voting to try to help somebody out, but I need something to hang my hat on. I need I need somebody to give me something that says, here's something you can hang your hat on, why you can do this. And right now, I don't see anything, so I wouldn't be taking the time to try to say no harder. I'd be trying to find a way, just so if somebody ever came to me and says, what are you doing? I could at least justify it. Right now, if I said yeah, I don't even know how I'd justify that to anybody, honestly. I thought it was I didn't know about any of that. I just knew that it was coming and told to them that it was just a shed. It didn't need a Title V done.
The previous owner's like 80, he's up pushing 90.
All right, well, I
So
misunderstood who it was. It was you,
Well,
but you did come in and
because
say that it
I
didn't
got a
need a
letter
Title
from
V
the
because
Board
it
of
didn't.
Health
Yeah.
saying I needed a Title V and stuff, and I'm like, I think that's what it was. I don't know, so I came right down. And for me, I don't know. This is all news to me, so if I speak out of school, I'm just uneducated in this field.
Well, anytime a property sells, it goes in bank tradesman, and we automatically send out a letter if we don't have a Title V, because it's required by state law.
Which is fine, and if I borrowed the money from a bank, they probably would have had me do it, but see, never happened before. Usually you have to borrow money from a bank.
Unless you guys think different and you two want to vote on something
I-
tonight, I'm just not comfortable doing it tonight.
I almost always vote yes because it would be better off than it was, but what's the difference between a shed with a hole in it? Every other shed, my backyard.
Obviously, somebody that lived there and was using it as an outhouse bathroom.
Yeah, type of deal.
It appears to be somewhat of more than a shed by the picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a two-story.
Yeah,
it's
it's not a shed
Yeah.
by any means. It's a dwelling.
I'm told that you
Just-
can't even have a shed. It has to be a cottage. That's what they told me here in this office.
What has
So-
to be a shed?
There's no such thing as just a property with a shed on it.
I'm sure there are.
That's what they told me. It has to
You
be a
can't do it
cottage.
nowadays,
Cottage is
but
the
you,
minimum
who
of-
told you that?
Somebody in this office did
Well,
that
I'm
same
looking
day.
at both of them. Did somebody say that there's no such way to have a shed on
The
a,
building department might tell you can't take a vacant piece of land
and just build it on in new
Yeah.
code, but I'm sure there's parcels all around
That's
town
not a-
that just have sheds or garages on them.
So then why would it be assessed for a bathroom?
Because the assessors don't know when they drive around, they just assume something's in there. It looks like a little house from the outside.
Because it is, really. It is. I mean,
Yeah.
the notion that somebody didn't go to the bathroom is bizarre. I can't even fathom that notion.
If it had no plumbing and no occupancy permit, the town, I don't know how they would classify that.
I don't know, but I've been to plenty of places that don't have plumbing where you go to the bathroom.
Want to table it till the next meeting, till we look
Yeah,
into
well,
it further?
I'd rather continue it to the next
Okay.
meeting.
I mean, we can do a walkthrough if you want, and I could go out and see what's there. If there's anything there, we can go underneath.
I wouldn't go underneath.
I don't know what.
Not after
I don't know
talking
what's
now, I
there.
wouldn't go, I don't even wanna look underneath, forget go underneath.
Well, why not?
Cause you just said
Because
people were
there's something
dumping
there,
crap in
right?
there.
Yeah, so how come you say there's nothing there?
But there was outhouses all over town, that doesn't mean that they're cottages.
Okay, so an outhouse isn't repairable.
I don't know if they can or not anymore, I don't think you can have outhouses anymore.
Okay, so
No,
that's what we're saying is we wanna make it a legitimate tight tank, unless you think that would fail.
Tight tank is a last resort as a repair for an existing septic system in failure with no other alternative. That's the problem. I don't think there's any way to, under new construction standards, to permit on something on a 3,000 square foot lot. It's just, it doesn't meet nitrogen loading for even one bedroom.
Right, so it's not new construction, it's built in the 1950s. And again,
Well, new construction
to
is
think
defined
that
as
they
any
didn't go to the
increase in
bathroom.
flow. And if it had no flow, this would be an increase in flow. If it wasn't permitted as a 1 or 2 bedroom cottage, that's the problem going